My mom admitted I was an unwanted pregnancy and failed abortion. Never loved me but loved my siblings 11 and 8. Now my parents are divorcing because of cheating. My aunt says I should support my mom. My little sister thinks she tried to kill me. I'm 15 male, the oldest of 3 kids. My brother is 11 and my sister is 8. My family has always been kind of messy, and I think I've known that from the very beginning. But as I've gotten older, I've realized that it wasn't just messy, it was lopsided. Growing up, I've always felt like the outcast in my own home. The odd one out. The child who never quite belonged, especially when it came to my mom and her side of the family. Her side of the family isn't very big. She's not close to her parents, so most of that connection was just with her sister, my aunt. And even there, it was obvious. The difference in how I was treated versus how my brother and sister were treated was like night and day. When I was little, if I brought home some crappy painting from school, the kind of art projects every kid does where it's more scribbles than anything, my mom would barely look at it. She'd maybe glance at it, not say a word, and it would eventually get lost or thrown away. At the time, I didn't think much of it. I figured maybe all parents were like that, maybe she was just busy. But then my brother got older, and especially when my sister came along. Suddenly, everything they did was like it was touched by the hand of God. My sister could bring home a piece of paper with random paint blobs, and it was immediately framed in her eyes. It would go on the fridge, or get shown off to visitors like it was something extraordinary. My mom would gush about it, take pictures, act like it was priceless. And I couldn't help but notice. She never did that for me. My aunt was the same way. With me, she barely spoke. She never asked how my day was. If I wanted to tell her about something that mattered to me, she'd brush me off or just not care. But with my brother and sister, she's the warmest, kindest person in the world. She laughs with them, plays with them, asks them questions, spoils them with attention. The contrast is brutal. Then there were the little things that didn't feel so little. Like sometimes, my mom wouldn't even set a plate for me at the dinner table. Everyone else would have their spots ready, and I'd have to grab my own plate. It made me feel invisible, like an afterthought in my own home. Or the Christmas card one year, the family card she sent out to relatives, where she chose a picture without me in it. That one really stung. I used to hear my parents fight about this, especially when I was younger. My dad would call her out, ask her to just try, ask her why she was treating me differently. He saw it, he noticed. And I think that's when I started piecing things together. Maybe I wasn't just imagining it. Maybe I really wasn't wanted. And now, with everything that's happened, I can't stop wondering if this is part of the reason for their divorce. Not the whole reason, since there was also cheating, but maybe my existence or her feelings about me was part of the foundation cracking. The thing is, with my dad and his family, it was completely different. My dad is the best father ever. He loves me, and it shows. He always made me feel like I mattered. His side of the family too, my grandparents, cousins, uncles, they've always been warm and supportive. With them, I never felt like the odd one out. They treated me like I was important, like I belonged. If it weren't for my dad, I don't know how I would have held it together at all. But then came the fight. This was a few days before my parents sat us down and told us they were divorcing. I got into a huge fight with my mom. My dad was there too, but he was more of a bystander until things got really heated. The fight itself wasn't even about anything related to all this. It was about something else, something stupid. But in the middle of it, with all the emotions boiling over, I asked her straight up why she didn't love me. And that's when she said it. In a moment of anger, she admitted she didn't want me. That I was a failed abortion. I don't even know the full details of what she meant. Abortion wasn't legal in my state back then, so I guess she was young, didn't have proper access, maybe it didn't work, or maybe she tried something unsafe and it failed. I don't know, but hearing those words from my own mother crushed me in a way I can't describe. My dad exploded. He completely lost it on her. I barely remember the details because I think my brain just shut down. He sent me to bed while he yelled at her, and I just lay there in my room, crying like I've never cried before. I've always known I was a teen pregnancy. They were young when they had me, and I thought they had just pushed through, worked hard, and loved me anyway. I thought they chose me, despite how hard it must have been. But in that moment, all of that shattered. I realized that at least for my mom, it wasn't true. I wasn't a choice. I was a mistake she had to live with. When my parents finally sat us down and told me and my siblings they were getting divorced, I didn't feel what I expected to feel. My siblings were both crying, distraught, clinging to each other, and to my mom. But me? I just sat there numb. Like the words hit me, but they didn't go anywhere. I didn't cry, I didn't panic, I didn't even move. It was almost like I was frozen in my own body. And maybe that numbness was because, deep down, I already knew this was coming. I'd heard the fights for years, seen the coldness, felt the fractures. And after what my mom had said to me just a few nights earlier about not wanting me, about being a failed abortion, I think something inside me just switched off. My aunt was there that day, too, hovering in the kitchen like she always does when it comes to big family matters. Right after the talk, she told me and my siblings to get ready to leave, because we were going to stay with my mom for a while at her house. And that's when something in me broke. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to live under the same roof as a woman who had admitted she never wanted me, who had treated me like I didn't matter my entire life, and who now looked at me with this strange mix of sadness and detachment that didn't feel like love. So I said it. I told them I wasn't going. I didn't want to leave the house I grew up in, and I sure as hell didn't want to go stay at my aunt's house with my mom. My mom just looked sad. Not apologetic, not remorseful, just sad. And I couldn't stand it. So I walked out of the kitchen and went straight to my bedroom, slammed the door, and sat on the bed staring at the wall. Of course, my aunt followed me. She couldn't just leave it alone. She came in, shut the door behind her, and sat down like she was about to give me some kind of lecture. She looked at me with this disappointed expression and said, "You can't act like this. Your brother and sister look up to you. You're basically a third parent to them. They need you to be there for your mother right now. This is a hard time for her." I could feel my blood boiling. I snapped back at her. "I don't want to be there for that, bitch." She immediately got furious. Her face went red. Her voice got sharp. She told me I didn't understand what was happening, that I was too young to really know the truth. Then she dropped the bomb. "Your dad cheated. That's why this is happening. You should be supporting your mom." And just like that, I learned my dad had cheated. But here's the thing. In that moment, I didn't care. Looking back now, yeah, it was shitty of him. Cheating is never okay. But right then, when my aunt tried to weaponize it against me, all I could think was, why should I care about protecting a woman who never wanted me in the first place? I lost it. I told her straight up about the abortion comment. I asked her why I should support someone who didn't love me, who told me she never wanted me, who treated me differently from my siblings my whole life. I listed it all. The paintings she ignored, the times she didn't set a plate for me at dinner, the Christmas card without me, the constant coldness compared to how she treated my brother and sister. I put it all out there, every little scar I had collected over the years. And do you know what my aunt said? She told me it was complicated. She said I couldn't resent my mother for it. Like it was something I should just swallow, just accept as part of some bigger story I'll never understand. That was the final straw for me. We were yelling by that point. My voice was shaking, hers was loud, and soon my parents came into the room to break it up. My dad pulled my aunt away, telling her to leave me alone, and eventually they got her out of the room. Then I was left alone again, sitting there in silence, staring at the same walls I've stared at my whole life, but feeling like the house wasn't even mine anymore. It's been a few weeks since everything went down, and right now I'm living with my dad. My mom has been asking to talk to me, but I don't want to. Every time the idea even comes up, I feel my chest tighten, like I can't breathe. I'm not ready. I don't know if I'll ever be ready. And honestly, the fact that I don't even want to hear her out makes me feel conflicted, like maybe I'm being unfair, but then I think back on everything, and I just shut down again. What makes me feel especially pathetic is how I've been with my siblings since all of this happened. They really do look up to me. I've always been more of a third parent to them than just a big brother. I helped raise them. I was the one making sure homework got done, bedtime routines happened, fights got broken up, all that stuff. And now, when they need me the most, I'm not there. I feel like I've abandoned them. Instead of being strong for them, instead of being proactive, calling, texting, checking in, I just sit here and cry. I know it's pathetic, and I hate myself for it. I'll sit with my phone in my hand, staring at my sister's number, knowing I should reach out, knowing I should be present for her, and then I just don't. I put the phone down, crawl into bed, and let myself feel sorry for myself. The worst part is my little sister overheard the fight I had with my aunt that day. She's only 8 years old, so she didn't understand half the stuff we were shouting about, but she's smart, too smart for her own good. She looked it up, and now she thinks my mother literally tried to kill me before I was even born. She won't listen to any explanations from my mom or my aunt. She won't believe anything they say. To her, it's black and white. Our mom hates me, our mom didn't want me, and now our mom is trying to separate us. And seeing her so distraught, seeing her so protective over me in her own little way, it rips me apart. Because she's just a kid. She doesn't need this. She doesn't deserve this. She should be worried about school and friends and toys, not whether her mother once wanted her big brother aborted. My brother, on the other hand, hasn't really said much. He's quieter about the whole thing, kind of just keeping to himself. I think, out of all three of us, he's handling this the best. Maybe that's because he's more laid back, or maybe because he's only 11 and doesn't fully grasp the weight of what's happening yet. But either way, he's not showing it as much. And part of me feels guilty for not even trying harder to break through his silence. According to my dad, my mom and my aunt want to sit my sister down and explain to her that no, my mom didn't try to kill me, and no, she doesn't hate me. And maybe that would be the smart thing to do. Maybe it would ease her mind. But another part of me is so angry, because why should an 8-year-old even need that conversation in the first place? Why did it ever have to get this far? Why was I even put in the position where I had to scream out my pain in the middle of a family fight for her to overhear? Then there's my dad. He doesn't want me to hate my mom. He keeps telling me I should talk to her, that I should give her a chance, that he wants me to have a relationship with her. He says it's important, and maybe he's right. But every time he says it, I feel myself shutting down again. I don't want to talk to her. The weird part is, I don't even know how I feel about the abortion thing anymore. Like, I don't see it as her literally trying to kill me. I know it's not that simple. I do understand that she was a teenager, and that she must have been scared and confused, and probably without the support she needed. I can recognize that it was complicated. And, because of that, I don't think I can bring myself to hate her for the abortion attempt itself. But what I can't get past is how she treated me after I was born. That's the part that hurts the most. Because even if she was scared back then, even if she didn't want me at first, I was still here. I was still her kid. She still had a chance to love me, and instead she chose to treat me like I was less than my siblings. Like I didn't belong. Like I was an afterthought. That's what I can't forgive. And then there's my dad. He cheated. He's the reason the marriage officially ended. I know that. And I know cheating is awful, and it makes him a piece of shit in a lot of ways. But here's the truth. I don't care. I love my dad. He's been nothing but supportive of me, the best father he could be. He's the one person I feel safe with right now. And even though I know what he did was wrong, when I look at him, I don't see a cheater or a bad guy. I just see my dad. I can't bring myself to hate him the way I probably should. And that makes me feel like a terrible person. So here I am, stuck in the middle of all of this, not talking to my mom, barely talking to my siblings, avoiding my extended family altogether. I feel so lost. Part of me feels like I'm doing the right thing by protecting myself, by refusing to engage with someone who's hurt me so badly. But another part of me feels like a total asshole for siding with my dad even though he cheated, for shutting my siblings out when they need me, for being too wrapped up in my own pain to be the brother they look up to. I don't know what the right thing is anymore. I don't know if I'm being stubborn or justified, strong or selfish. So that's why I'm here. I need someone to give me the cold, hard truth. Am I the a-hole in all of this? I don't know what to do anymore. Part of me feels justified in keeping my distance from my mom, but another part of me feels like I'm failing my siblings by not being there for them. I'm torn between protecting myself and being the older brother they need. How do I cope with the guilt, confusion, and anger? Should I try to talk to my mom, or am I right to keep away? And how do I support my siblings without breaking myself more? My mom has always treated me like an outsider while loving my siblings, 11 and 8. She never cared about my achievements, sometimes didn't even set me a plate, and once left me out of a family card. In a fight, she admitted I was an unwanted teen pregnancy and a failed abortion. My parents are now divorcing, dad cheated, and I'm staying with him. My aunt says I should support my mom, but I can't. My sister overheard, and now thinks mom tried to kill me. Am I wrong to cut her off?